regular jobs, professions, but they give something back by coming and being a police officer and working the streets of Los Angeles, and I'm grateful for that. And tonight's an opportunity for us to recognize and honor them.
If I can entertain people and send a positive message and maybe even bridge the gap from civilians to the men and women in blue to create a little more harmony, a little more unity, I mean, that's priceless.
Honored guests, we ask that you stand, please, for the posting of the colors by the Los Angeles Police Department Honor Guard, our national anthem sung by Officer Rosalind Curry, and the invocation by Reserve Chaplain Monsignor Francis Hicks.
Please stand. Color.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Right. Face it. Forward. Forward.
You are the author of all inspiration, and we seek your guiding hand in the lives of the many gathered around these tables this evening. Lord, we know that we have implanted within the spirit of these brave men and women a special gift, an incentive to seek an avocation that encourages them to confront danger and to place their own safety and well-being in jeopardy, to block lawlessness and wrongdoing, and to be civic guarantees against chaos, crime, and evildoers. Father God, we have cultivated among these women and men a dedication to enforce the law and to establish by their commitment justice and good order within our community, which they have sworn to serve. These men and women are not foolhardy, but they sincerely seek the well-being of their neighbors and, yes, the stranger, more than their own personal security. These police officers who freely volunteer to seek justice and good order on our behalf routinely are exposed to the worst in people, and people, unfortunately, at their worst. I pray, Father God, for their safety. These brave officers disregard the dangers that lurk as they exercise their sworn duties. Father, intervene on their behalf against any threatening evil. Support these officers' commitment in the exercise of their action with skill, intelligence, and tenacity. And press upon them, that is, in you, gracious Father, who has commissioned them to do the work that they have sworn to pursue and uphold. As these men and women venture out upon the mean city streets, guide them in their assignments. Protect them from all harm, orient their thoughts and actions where needed, and finally, Father, assist these brave men and women whenever they call upon your name in prayer and lavish your benevolence upon their efforts. For all this we affirm, plead, and petition. I would like to conclude this invocation with a short prayer reflection of a New York City Fire Department chaplain. You go out and you do the job, no matter how big or called, no matter how small. You have no idea of what God is calling you to do, but God needs you. He needs me. He needs all of us. God needs us to keep supporting each other, to be kind to each other, to love each other. We love this job. We all do. What a blessing it is. It is a difficult job, but God calls you to do it, and indeed, He gives you a love that it is so difficult job will be well done. Isn't God wonderful? He's good to you, to each one of us, and to me as well. Turn to God each day. Put your faith, your trust, your hope, and your life in His hands. He'll take care of you, and you'll have a good life. And your division will be a great blessing for your neighborhood and for this city. This blessing was prayed September 10th, 2001. These are the words of the New York City chaplain, Michael Judge, the first identified casualty of the Twin Towers catastrophe of September 11th. May God rest his soul and all who pursue justice and order. Amen.
The Los Angeles Police Reserve Corps came as a result of the tragic bombing of Pearl Harbor. On Monday, December 8, 1941, 1,600 Los Angeles men and women lined up in front of City Hall to volunteer as auxiliary police, firemen, and air raid wardens. By March of 1942, a substantial number of these volunteers were trained and serving on the city streets as auxiliary police officers. These volunteers served faithfully and heroically throughout the war years. In 1943, Police Chief C.B. Horral began the creation of a 2,000-member police reserve, and 1,700 auxiliary police became the first Los Angeles police reserves. At war, the City Council recognized the continuing need for the reserve, so the Los Angeles Police Reserve Corps was established. The Reserve Corps later became a permanent part of the police department in 1947. Throughout the 50s and 60s, the Reserve Corps thrived, but age and attrition began to shrink the Corps to a low point of 120 officers. So Chiefs Tom Redden and Ed Davis took a sharp interest in the program was reborn. In 1968, the TV show Adam 12 debuted, depicting LAPD officers as dedicated modern-day professionals, drawing many citizens to the program. Hundreds answered the call, and the Corps began to grow again. To support the increasing number of LAPD Reserve officers, the nonprofit Los Angeles Police Reserve Foundation was established in 1984. The foundation began to fund equipment, training, and support for community events such as the Special Olympics, the Sunshine Kids, reserve recruitment, and other city programs. It also presents the annual Twice a Citizen Reserve Officer of the Year fundraising banquet, which honors reserve officers and community leaders.
I think the existence of the reserves over so many decades has demonstrated that this is a department that welcomes and embraces that community engagement, that community involvement, and that we really are in the shared responsibility of public safety. It's an all-hands event.
Today, there are over 400 LAPD reserve officers working a variety of assignments, including patrol, transit, motor and traffic, air support, mounted units, counterterrorism, detective, and major crime division. The Reserve Corps continues to expand its professionalism and value throughout the department. The Corps has evolved over the years, and the standards for reserve police officers have been progressively upgraded to match that of regular full-time officers of the Los Angeles Police Department, setting the standard for police departments throughout the country. They do it all without pay. One example of service is that of Dr. Kenji Inaba, Professor of Surgery and Vice Chair of the Department of Surgery at USC Medical Center. He trained at the Police Academy and patrols the city streets. But Inaba also serves as LAPD's chief surgeon and provides advice to the Department of Medical Training, health policies, and treatment of injured officers. The Los Angeles Police Reserve Officer Corps is dedicated to serving the people and reminds you that Los Angeles is your city, and if you have what it takes to protect and serve, we need you.
Please welcome to the stage the co-presidents of the Los Angeles Police Reserve Foundation, Carla Amundsen, and Reserve Police Officer retired Michael Sellers.
Hi, everybody. Dang, it is so good to see you here tonight. How are you? It's been a few years. It's so wonderful. And, if there was ever a time to honor our LAPD Reserve police officers and to thank your families, let's admit it, it's been times like these, right? It's been moments like this. So what Carla and I want to do is we want to start this show by asking our reserve officers and our members of our Corps to stand up. Those of you in the room, please stand up, please. Thank you for your service. Outstanding. Outstanding. This year, your Reserve Foundation has been so busy supporting you and so many of our initiatives. The BDU initiative, the wash and wear utility uniforms, how many of that keep you safe during this pandemic, how many of you have signed up for this grant? Please raise your hands. It's been one of our most popular initiatives, and for good reason. Outstanding. So what I want to do is I want to go through several of our initiatives. So this year, we raised funds for our scholarship that benefited a record 6 children and grandchildren of our reserve officers. It's been extraordinary. This is, and basically, this includes an educational fund that we contributed to. The Legal Defense Fund, giving our reserve officers and their families an extra peace of mind. And we thank the League is over there, we thank the League for partnering with us on this once again. So our brand new tourniquet initiative, already distributing it to many of our reserves in the field and those in critical positions. These are tourniquets that you keep on yourself, on your body, and it can make the difference in saving a life. Carla's going to talk a little bit more about that. So, the Memorial Project. Y'all know what that is? Were you there? It is what an honor it has been. What an honor it has been to be a part of that team effort. Up at the Academy, up at Elysian Park, there is now a garden. It's a garden that honors our fallen reserve officers, including the brand new plaque for Stuart Tyra. And there's a granite. There's a big hunk piece of granite that's never going to be moved, I don't think. Lost. All right? And it honors the thousands of reserve officers and others who've come before us. It's a history now saved. It's a history now preserved. It's awesome. So let's talk about the brand new department approved Reserve Officer of the Year ribbon. How cool is that? How incredibly cool is that? Thank you, Chief. Thank you to the Uniform Committee. Mel, how many reserve officers now have this ribbon? 73. 73, all courtesy of the foundation, and some of you on the stage are going to get that here tonight. So the Reserve Foundation has been doing a lot, and what we want to do, what Carla and I want to do, is we want to have our board of directors, please stand. Please stand. Take a look around, folks. If you need to reach out to us, these are who you need to talk to. So, our reserve officers are in a unique position to build a bridge between your LAPD and the communities that you live in. And to that end, which brings us to our Twice a Citizen community leaders. This year we have Steve Soboroff, and Shamar Moore. Gentlemen, what an honor it is to have you here. We are so grateful to have you and those who are with you here tonight. We look forward to honoring you. Joe Montega is in the house tonight. Thank you, sir. You're going to be up on stage honoring. On behalf of our board of directors, Carl and I want to thank Chief of Police Michael Moore. Thank you, sir, for always being here. And Assistant Chief B. Grimala, who, my goodness, she has been a pillar throughout my career, almost on the first day of my life with the LAPD and all the way to the end. I'm so grateful. Deputy Chief Blake Chow, who's a member of our board of directors right now. And Commander Billy Brockway, where are you? I think you're over there somewhere. There you are. Our brand new, not so brand new now, but, kind of, a little bit jaded, our department coordinator. He knows his way around. To our department, to everybody downtown in the reserve unit, to our area coordinators. Raise your hand if you're an area coordinator. Thank you for all that you do. I just want to say one thing. Let's keep Miss Georgia Jones in our heart tonight. A reserve officer for 45 years. She passed away May 14th, right about the time we otherwise would have had our banquet, and we weren't able to do that. So let's keep a little bit of a heart with her. And that's it. And that's it. So have fun tonight. That's your job, is to have fun tonight. And please, please be safe. And thank you. Now my co-president.
You know, I was watching that video, and the last line is, if you think you want to do this, sign up or something like that. And I'm looking across this room, and I just met Miles, and I was thinking, he looks like a good recruit. And I'm looking through the room here, and I see Jeff. He looks like a good recruit, too. So there's some uniformed personnel in the back over there on the left. See them as you exit, please. So 2020 is a year that many of us would like to forget. But adversity brings strength, and the Reserve Corps flexed its muscles. For example, the second night of the protest last spring, I was out driving, getting some fresh air, because, you know, nobody walks in LA. And I came across a couple of black and white units loaded up with reserve officers. And when I say loaded up, I mean defined as Ford Explorers that had 2 in the front, 2 in the back, and 2 sitting in the cargo area. Feet hanging out the back. Melissa, in your sexy red dress, you were one of those hanging your feet out the back there. I remember that. And she wasn't wearing that sexy red dress that night. They were a couple of entire squads of reserves that were out from numerous divisions assigned to support hotspots in Hollywood. Twice the Citizen Spring 2020 was forced to go virtual, of course, due to COVID. And again, reserves stepped up to honor their own. The virtual attendance was similar to a typical Gali year. I would like to ask the 2020 Reserve Officers of the Year to please stand and receive the recognition that you richly deserve. Any that are in attendance, please stand. Tim, if you would remain standing, please. Officer Tim Widman from 77th Division was our overall Reserve Officer of the Year for 2020. Please give him the recognition he deserves. Thank you all again for your dedication to the Corps and the department. Tonight, we honor our 2021 recipients and celebrate the contributions the Reserve Corps makes to the Los Angeles Police Department. As the honorees tonight will attest, many reserve officers work more than the required hours. They solve crimes, remove DUI drivers from our streets, and support their divisions through being flexible in assignments. Recently, Deputy Chief Chow and Commander Billy Brockway called on the reserves to support the department by working special foot beats. Often at the last minute, and again, reserves have stepped up and made an impact. Each assignment has resulted in a reduction of crime. Now, we all know that app Nextdoor, you all are on it Nextdoor and you read those comments, right? Well, that doesn't always bring out the best in anybody, right? The July Melrose Avenue Footbeat received dozens of positive comments shortly after the watch began. Store owners literally stopped officers on the street to thank them for being there. Of course, never knowing they were reserves. There are similar stories in every division where this has occurred. But hey, if you don't believe me, check out this video.
Yeah, great idea. CBS 2's Joy Benedict has a look at the new Foot Patrol Force.
They come for the sights, flashing lights, and the stars. But scattered among the tourists are now our men and women in blue.
What we're doing today is a high visibility patrol.
Officer Sammy Hsu spent today on Hollywood Boulevard. He's part of a new increased foot patrol by the LAPD.
We're letting the citizens, the community, the business owners know that we are here.
But Officer Hsu and the other 14 in uniform out here are actually unpaid volunteers, part of the LAPD's reserves.
I work in legal information technology. So I do IT work at law firm.
But one day a week, he puts on a badge and goes where he's needed.
My day job, I sit behind a desk and I help attorneys, right? But out here, I get to interact with the community. And when I go home at the end of my shift, a lot of times I actually feel like I made a difference in the world.
And although some are calling for less officers on the streets, the LAPD says the reserve officers are the exact bridge this community needs during an unprecedented time.
We're going to make sure that as more people do come out, that this is a safe environment to bring your family.
The Los Angeles Police Department has about 400 volunteer reserves.
They come from all walks of life. We have doctors, we have attorneys, we have people that own businesses, we have people that work for the Postal Service. You name it, we've got it.
Many, like Officer Shu, have had so much training they can do anything a paid officer can. Something the tourists here find comforting.
I think it's absolutely great. Keeps things in order.
Proving not all superheroes wear capes or costumes. On Hollywood Boulevard, where anything goes, even our officers dream big.
I do it for free because I love what I do. I love the people of LA.
Right now, the LAPD is only using the beefed up foot patrols during the day, but they haven't ruled out adding reserve officers in the evening hours as well, as more things start to open up. From Hollywood Boulevard, I'm Joy Benedict, CBS 2 News.
Tonight, we raise funds to support the Corps. My partner, Michael, already mentioned many of our initiatives. One of the many, our new tourniquet initiative, we already started it, but we really need to bring it home. We need to expand it, which we can do with your help. Seconds can make a difference in saving a life. These devices are worn on the Sam Browne. For those of you in the room who do not know what a Sam Browne is, it's that big utility belt that is worn around the officer's waist. On the table, you will see some envelopes. As you reach for them, know how much your donation is appreciated and how essential it is. For those of you that have been coming for years, you might have noticed we have a smaller silent auction. Attendance is a little less, and we don't have a live auction. The economy is slowly recovering. Please be generous. These funds have tangible and direct benefits to reserve officers, as mentioned before. So thank you. Thank you for giving generously. A volunteer will come by to graciously correct your generous contribution during dinner. Each year, we are very proud of the A-listers who want to be part of this event. Last year, Tim Conway Jr. and Amy Aquino were our virtual co-hosts. This year, some last-minute conflicts arose, and both Tim and Amy became unavailable. But we do have an A-list replacement. Filling in for Tim is an A-lister television and radio personality and two-time Emmy Award winner. In addition to being heard late mornings on San Francisco's KGO AM, he regularly appears on Los Angeles' KFI AM, Tim Conway Jr.'s show. Odd, he must only work for radio stations with the rare 3-letter call sign? Okay. Anyway, he has also hosted countless shows and charitable events. If his voice sounds familiar, he was the voice of American Idol for 16 seasons. Please give a warm welcome to a man who has lent his voice to over 100 programs showcasing law enforcement, Mr. Mark Thompson. And filling in for the award-winning, in-demand actress, Amy Aquino, Bill Amundsen. Honey, don't screw anything up, okay?
Nice job. What's that?
Please, don't get up for us. Don't get up for us. Oh, wait, he's just going to the bathroom. Never mind.
Bill is very much familiar with you. I am so honored to be here. I have to tell you, when they said, the LAPD would like you to help out, I said, whatever the LAPD wants. And they said, well, it's Saturday, it's this coming. I said, no question about it, I'm here. The LAPD, so important to my life my darling other half. We've been through so much this year, and the LAPD has been terrific. I mean, we were burned out of our residence in Brentwood in the Getty fire. That just happened about 2 years ago, I guess it's now. And I don't know if you guys know this, but when you're evacuated, you know, your whole neighborhood burned, you have to find another place to live right away. I mean, it's a real shotgun wedding type thing. They say, go on Airbnb. For real, it's like, this is the insurance company, and so we chose Venice. Now, before you say anything, it was convenient for us geographically, but we were living in the middle of everything. 2 people were killed at the end of the street. There was a homeless encampment. I mean, it was crazy. So within a month, I'm coming home, it's dusk. This just speaks to the LAPD, how they were there in such a big way. And my neighbor says, hey, before you go inside, I've got video of somebody entering your property and going into your house. It's like, all right, wait a minute. So he shows me the video, and we call 911. Fortunately, Courtney wasn't in the house. I wasn't in the house. And now I'm waiting for the cops to arrive. They were very prompt, and they show up, and they're, what? They're so handsome. It's unbelievable. I didn't think they were real cops.
Well, thank you very much, Mark.
I even said to the cop, I said, "Where are you guys are actors, right? And where are the real cops? I need real cops for this." And he laughed, and then he said, and then he said, what's going on? I showed him the video. And then he said, I'm calling this in as a 459, I think is what he said. And I said, yeah, that's what I was thinking, a 459, right, exactly. And then all of these cops started showing up. I mean, they were there, and they were ready to go in. And then he said, I'm calling in an airship. And I said, an airship? That sounds so cool. Is that a helicopter, or what is that? He said, yeah, we call them airships. I love that you call them airships. That's great. That's what I call them. So this helicopter comes, a big beam on the house. They go in, and they arrest the guy. But I have to say one thing they did, which is really great, because it was like the movies. They did this. They got a loudspeaker out, and they said this. They actually did. This is the Los Angeles Police Department. We have the house surrounded. Come out with your hands up. They really said that. And when when all threat to you is gone, moments like that just make you smile. They helped us immeasurably. We moved from Venice. We're in Studio City now, where somebody was arrested in our driveway, so we never get away from the LAPD. So it's my pleasure to be here tonight. Thank you, everybody. So we have much to do. I have to tell you something about the reserve program as far as I'm concerned. I knew about it generally, but I was amazed as I read about what everyone in this room does on a regular basis, giving up your regular jobs and your full-time jobs, and in other words, stepping away from them. I know no one's literally quitting their job to be a police officer, but I know that many of you take time after your full-time job and work in the reserves, or after retirement for that matter. So I've read about surgeons and pharmacists and businessmen and entertainment executives, all part of this. And many of you continue after retirement, and I've spoken to many of you tonight. You each have the gratitude of every person in this room for what you do to protect and serve, and I can say this as a taxpayer as well, that I thank you for your commitment that saves the city of Los Angeles millions of dollars every year. So thank you. Later in our program, you're going to hear about each of tonight's winners. A Reserve Officer of the Year has been chosen to each division, plus a bureau winner for each of the 6 bureaus, and 1 overall Reserve Officer of the Year chosen by the chief and the command staff. So that's something to look forward to a little bit later tonight. Bill?
Holy smokes, I can't just do my same monotone voice for this anymore, can I? Oof. This year we celebrate 74 years of the LAPD Reserve Corps. Many people think I've been here since the very beginning. We're here to recognize the reserve police officers and volunteers who support LAPD with the many thousands of hours of their time each year, patrolling the streets and supporting almost every division within the department. And tonight we'll also pay tribute to 2 outstanding citizens. Mark Thompson and Bill, wait, no, that's not. Steve Soboroff and Shamar Moore. We'll have more on Moore and more on Soboroff later. It's an honor now to recognize those that approve my yearly stipend. Chief of Police Michael Moore. Boy, I'm really sorry that I kind of messed that one up. Whew. The only way I could have done it worse is if I called him Michelle. Assistant Chief Beatrice Gamalia. Assistant Chief Robert Marino. Deputy Chief Alan Hamilton. Deputy Chief Mark Reyna. Deputy Chief Amada Tingariti. Deputy Chief Dan Randolphs. Commanders Billy Brockaway, Don Graham, Shannon Paulson. Former Assistant Chief Sandy Jo MacArthur. Former Police Administrator Gloria Grube. And President of Los Angeles Police Commission, William Briggs. Now we can all applaud.
Of course, we have tonight's honorees, philanthropist and business leader Steve Soboroff, as you mentioned, and his wife Patty, star and producer of SWAT, and the best-looking man on television. You could turn down the handsome a little bit, Shamar, once in a while. Shamar Moore, and several members of the cast were here earlier, of course, Kenny Johnson, David Lim, and Alex Russell. Previous honorees, former City Council member and Reserve Officer Dennis Zine, former Foundation President Mel Kennedy, businessman and Reserve Officer Steve Fazio, the star of the television series Criminal Minds, and you know him from so many films and other series, Joe Mantegna, and he plays Detective, yes, I didn't know if we should hold the applause till the end. I hope I'm not. He plays Detective Moore from Bosch, Gregory Scott Cummins, actor, producer, and board member of the Reserve Foundation, Ryan Cassidy, and now an applause for all of them, please. At this time, I'd like to invite all the reserve officers receiving your pins tonight for your years of service from 20 to 45 years to please check in with CODD in the reception lobby. All reserve officers, this is just a piece of logistics. If you could, again, if you're receiving your pins, head out to the lobby now. You are granted special dispensation to stand up and head out to the lobby if you need to.
And the quicker you do it, the quicker we all get to go home.
Yeah. Now, it is my distinct honor to introduce our co-host for the evening. He's a 40-year veteran of the Los Angeles Police Department. After joining the department in 1981, he rose through the ranks, promoted to deputy chief in 2004, to assistant chief in 2010, in 2016 to first assistant chief, and then on June 27th of 2018, Michael R. Moore was sworn in by Mayor Garcetti as the 57th chief of police of the city of Los Angeles. He oversees the third largest police force, the most innovative law enforcement agency in the world. He also takes great pride and recognizes the service of hundreds of reserve police officers in our city, and he's here tonight to present the awards to them personally. Please welcome Chief of Police, Michael Moore.
Good evening, everyone. So the voice of God there, is that not a voice to just desire? Mark, thank you for being here. And Bill and Carla, we've gone through some names tonight. The people who make up this foundation, the people who actually keep the wheels on the bus and the trains on time and generating the necessary funding and support. You've heard the efforts of them, whether it be the utility uniforms that our reserves have worn in the last 18 months during this pandemic, the largest emergency health crisis of any of our generations. You've heard about the tourniquet. This Thursday at our Medal of Valor ceremony, we'll be awarding the Medal of Valor to an officer, Enrique Trujillo, a Newton officer, who had one of those tourniquets put on his leg to save his life when he confronted a gunman who ambushed him, and at point-blank range, they exchanged gunfire. So while we have many instances in which we hear about a piece of equipment, or you may hear about a technology in which you kind of think, well, that's a nice toy, or it's a nice attribute to have. This is deadly work that our people engage in. And they are in struggles and times of chaos in which a life and death instance occurs. So as you dig into your wallets or credit cards or purses or however you go about with your items of value, dig deep, because this foundation does do wonderful work for the 400 plus men and women who as volunteers work every shift with a heart of commitment to service. This last year and a half has been like a time any of us have ever seen as Americans. What I'm particularly proud about the Reserve Program, which has throughout the years been dedicated to come and demonstrate their resolve to serve, is that we saw America stay home. We saw America protect itself, to work via Zoom, to have an at-home. It's changed the way we go about our work, about the way we live. But not with the reserves. Just like the peer members of the rank and file of this organization, they come to work. And they come to serve, no matter the threat to their personal safety. And it is a show of the size of their heart that I am grateful for. It is not just the footbeats on Melrose, but that's a nice point. A community that's been terrorized with street robberies that we haven't seen in 2 decades. But now we're feeling a bit more comfortable because they see a man and woman walking in uniform and saying hello and giving them assurance. Now, I can't talk about Mark's house. Where are you going next? Because you appear to be a magnet. Courtney, I'm suggesting Simi. It's a great place. But we have seen challenges with crime and a resurgence. And we're still trying to understand why it's occurring and what's impacting it. Reforms that we've seen, well-intended, probably ill, but not always well implemented, have seen increased numbers of individuals on our street preying upon others. We see a criminal justice system that has been frozen because of efforts to protect all of us from this deadly virus. And we see social institutions no longer work. But what I am internally grateful for is that I also see our men and women and the reserves that don't give up, that just continue to go with a heart of service. So tonight, as we honor every man and woman for the reserve officer, whether it's an area bureau or the entire city, know that I honor every reserve. You have my gratitude and my respect, and I'm grateful for your dedication. To the wives and husbands, brothers, sisters, all the family members, you're also part of this LAPD family, because it is your support of them that allows them to go out and do the job that they do for us and for the safety that we enjoy as Angelenos. God bless all of you, and thank you tonight for your generosity and your presence.
This is the new world right here. Nice job, sir. Thank you. Johnny Gill will join Chief Moore. Stage right. Yep. Bill and I will begin the present. Oh, there you are. Okay. Bill and I will begin the presentations of the service pins.
Well, you've got another PSA to do about first we want to invite Reserve Officer winners, Central Bureau, South Bureau, Traffic Group, and specialized divisions to head to the lobby to check in with CODD, South Bureau, Central Bureau, Traffic Group, and Specialized. Please head to the lobby and check in now. You're supposed to do that right now.
Oh, I was. Well, thank you. I thought you may have acquitted yourself nicely on that to the point that no one noticed. So,
Acquitted.
Now we will read the names of the recipients. And several of the reserve officers and volunteers in the audience have now reached a significant milestone of serving the city for over 20 years in their specific duties. And the chief would like to take this opportunity to present them with a special pin for their service. First up, those receiving their 20-year pins. Peter Feldman from North Hollywood. Gary Kennedy, Foothill. Domingo Morena, Harbor. Daniel Stevens, Newton. Wendy Wallentong, Wilshire. And those serving for 25 years, Roger Andrews from Mission. Gregory Canino, Northeast. James Hammond, Wilshire. And Matthew Matola, Northeast. The following people have been reserve police officers for 30 years. Sharon Abbott, Harbor. Avenuria Rocho, Wilshire. Frank Carmelo, Harbor. John Colello, Rampart. Armando Flores, Rampart. Stephen Greenwald, Air Support. Marco Jimenez, Harbor. Sandra Jones, Wilshire. Gary Liu, Central.
RMLAD? Yep. So many houses do that.
Steve Unanian from RMLAD.
Now for officers being acknowledged for 35 years of service. John Braficus, Pacific. Baxter Duke, Wilshire. Catherine Euler, Northeast. Michael French, Harbor. Alton Jones, Wilshire. And we have 8 reserve officers who've been serving for 40 years.
Wow.
Cindy Bennis, West Valley. Richard Duran, TRB. Paul Favreau, Office Operations. Steve Fazio from RHD. Phil Icky, Transit. Melvin Kennedy, Metropolitan. Denise Montgomery, DOC. Phil Tingarides, COP. Mark Zavala, Commercial Crimes Division. I always have TV on my mind. And we have one officer who is celebrating 45 years. James Miller from Air Support.
All right.
So, Mark, I don't want you to feel neglected, but this morning I had nothing else better to do, so I was hanging around PAB, and Commander Brockaway left his door open, so I was rummaging through his desk, and I put most of the things back, but one of the things I found in his upper right-hand drawer behind the bottle of scotch, great scotch too, but a little early in the morning, but hey, it's not going to stop me. I got a commander pin for him, so I want you to have a pin. We're not going steady, I just thank you for being here tonight.
Well, I'm honored. Thank you. Thank you very much. I will wear it proudly. I really am honored. Thank you.
And it's been sanitized for your convenience. So.
This is a commander pin?
It is a commander pin.
You've trusted me with a commander pin. Thank you. I love
Well,
this.
if the chief wouldn't lock his door, you'd have a chief's pin. So.
Very, very cool. Oh, now it's me?
Yeah,
All
I can do it again for you if you'd like.
I didn't realize that, tonight
I'm kind of lost
I will,
after the pin joke.
What is that? I believe congratulations to all of you and thank you for your many years of service. Is that what I'm supposed to say? Okay, very good.
Yep.
Now I hope we'll have all the Reserve Officers of the Year for South Bureau, Central Bureau, Traffic Group, and Specialized Divisions backstage to be introduced, please. So, now, tonight we will help Chief Moore recognize the Reserve Police Officers of the Year chosen by their division command staff, we should say. They will be announced by Bureau. You hear RPO1 or RPO3, that stands for Reserve Police Officer and the level they've attained, level 1 being equal to a qualified LAPD officer with full training. At the end of the program, we'll honor one Reserve Police Officer as the LAPD Reserve Officer of the Year for 2020, which the Foundation has tried to keep a surprise, so please, no one leave. You must be present to win, is that true? No, you don't have, no. That was, I'm sorry.
Please no one leave is the nice way of saying, attendants, can you please lock the doors?
If we're ready to begin, though, seriously, let's start with the Central Bureau. Bill, please do the honors.
My pleasure. First from Central Bureau.
Bill, I'm told that we need to stretch for a moment. I'm sorry? They're lost in the hallway. Okay.
Stretch for the moment.
All right. Yeah.
Well, actually, I was thinking of a collector's tapes that I got. I mean, they're VCR tapes. They're the Shamar Moore sweating to the penal codes.
Yeah, I do want to.
Fundraise.
I do want to mention that the silent auction, well, we have staked out. We have 4 different things that we've staked out in the silent auction. It closes at 8, so if you've bid on something, you should check on the status of it. And again, 8 o'clock is the cutoff. So.
But please be kind to Mark, because as we're finding out, his house is burglarized all the time, so he just needs some more stuff.
Well, it's not burglarized all the time, but I will say we're kind of filling a little bit, but I will tell you one other thing. My lovely other half, Courtney, listens to those murder podcasts all the time. Does anybody else listen to those?
Mm-hmm.
So she's on constant alert and constantly thinks she hears something or sees something. I mean, this is not an exaggeration. And so she's waking me up always saying, hey, listen, will you go out and check something? I think I heard something outside. And then she says, I'm going to call 911 if you don't want to go out. Honey, don't call 911. Literally, she calls 911 and they go, ma'am, we know you call here all the time. Literally, they've said that to her before. So we have a problem with that. But she has gone out before on her own and checked the perimeter. And even, that's what we call it in my house, checking the perimeter. Yeah. So we just want to say, LAPD, we're grateful to you. You're getting, and it is the case that we try to do all our own policing at home as well.
Well,
What's
I see
happening,
people
Bill?
backstage. I see some people standing there, but I think they're just there because, they want to take my picture.
So let me do this. I'm going to.
You ready? Oh, we're ready.
We are ready. Okay, because I was thinking, Mark, are you a pretty good auctioneer?
We'll find out.
We'll find out? Yeah. So, we're not going to have any live auctions tonight, but then we're stretching this out a little bit. So I thought, what if there was an interest level to attend a training session with SWAT and watch them in a shoot house?
Wow.
And now we won't shoot at you, but it's a training facility up at the academy, and Mr. Moore, I think, knows a little bit about this work. But it would be an opportunity for 4 people to oversee and attend, get a briefing by our D-team personnel, and they'd have an opportunity to see an entry and what the officers do in clearing a residence, the use of noise flash devices and other things, and their efforts to preserve life, their efforts to save and protect everyone while also defending themselves. So if there's an interest in that or not, we can just go right to the rewards.
No, that's a great thing. Are you kidding? There's definitely interest.
So as an effort to support the foundation, we'll just, why don't we start, Mark, and you pick the number?
Yeah, I mean,
less than $1 million.
I'll start low. I mean, I'll start at $1,000, but I mean, that's a steal. Can you just show your hand? There is some 32. 32 right behind you. Is that 2,000? 2,000 here at 17.
Aren't you supposed to be going something like...
Bill, you can do that if you want. 3,000, is that it? 32? 3,000. 3,000 here for this. I mean, this is priceless, right? 3,000 there on 32. 3,500. 3,500. 3,500. It's 4 spots. 4 spots for this SWAT opportunity. 3,500, or I'll sell it for 3,000. Anybody have 3,500 in the room for the reserves? All the money goes to the reserves. 5,000 on number. How about a round of applause? Yes. 5,000 right here.
I should have procured 2 pens from his desk.
5,500. 5,500. 5,500. Carla, do you have 5,500 somewhere?
Well, we got 5 over here.
We've got 5,000, Carla. I'm going to sell it for 5 unless I hear somebody else for 5,500. It is truly a priceless. 5,500 there on 32. Bravo. Thank you so much. All that money stays right here with the reserves. How about 6,000, sir? 6,000 on number 9. Yeah. 7,000 here on number 9. I'm sorry, 32. Number 9 really wants it for 7,000. It is a good cause, he's right. It's a good cause, and it'll be an amazing experience. So for 7,000, I'm going to sell it unless I hear 7,500. 7,000 once, 7,000 twice. How about a round of applause for this gentleman right here? $7,000. Thank you, Chief. Thank you. All right, now, Bill, please do the honors.
It is again my pleasure. First from Central Bureau, Chaplain Augustin Sagun has been with the department for 20 years, mostly in Hollenbeck. His other day job is at Southgate Foursquare Church. In addition to helping those in need that seek spiritual guidance, he also puts in countless hours helping Hollenbeck detectives clear cases of elder abuse, plus participating in neighborhood cleanup projects. Chaplain is hardworking, dedicated, and a compassionate officer. Northeast Area Officer, Reserve Officer Level 3, Sarah Novak. For the past 29 years, Officer Novak has worked Vice, Crash, Community Relations, helped detectives clear backlogs, served as field jail and booking officer for Vice task forces, and worked for command posts for major events. During the pandemic, she continued to input all FI cards into the FI computer system. Officer Novak is an outstanding asset to the Northeast area. Reserve Officer Level 1 Daniel Stevens inspires his peers. An engineering team manager in the oil industry, he was invaluable and unflappable during the most recent civil unrest working with the community. A 20th-year veteran of the Reserve Corps, his commitment and leadership while assisting sworn officers with critical investigations reflects his commitment to our city and the department. Virginia Hernandez Gonzalez, RPO Level 3A, has over 24 years of service with Rampart Detectives and Community Relations. Virginia played a critical role in the development of Rampart's pre-arrest juvenile diversion program, establishing protocols and recruiting community partners, and her skills as a licensed clinical social worker have been invaluable. Police Reserve Officer Carter Magnan began his career as a Level 3A Reserve Officer 13 years ago and rose through the ranks to a Level 1, working mostly with Central Area. He works patrol, footbeat, and constantly interacts with many of the unhoused on Skid Row. A commercial real estate broker, he is one of the first to volunteer for a detail or assignment. Officer Magnan is traveling and is unable to receive this award, so I'll pick it up later and put my name in it.
I'm happy to introduce you to South Bureau. Harbor area recognizes RPO Level 2, Lawrence Sam, who's been assigned to Harbor since 2004, working front desk, patrol, special events, and community relations, always willing to volunteer during the pandemic. He exhibited leadership, compassion, and empathy for everyone he came in contact with while serving on special task forces and COVID vaccination sites and supporting his fellow officers. His willingness to make a difference set him apart from others. Eduardo Cuevas is an environmental engineering associate for the DWP. He became a Level 1 Reserve police officer 2 years ago. His passion for the community and respect for the LAPD, having lived in the 77th Street area since his youth, motivated him to become a reserve officer. Working mostly Watch 2 patrol in the 77th, Officer Cuevas goes above and beyond, is diligent in his investigations, and has attained the respect of his peers. Reserve Police Officer Level 1 Paul Strauss pursued a career in the medical field and moved here to practice at Cedars-Sinai as a senior anesthesiologist, joining the Reserve Corps in 2017 to bring his medical expertise to the streets. He served in Southwest and patrolled at Vice and Narcotics. During 2 days a week or more that he devotes to the reserves, he also developed and presented a Stop the Bleed training for the first responders in Southwest Division in a series of health and wellness videos for the department. Wow. Officer Strauss, I'm going to ask you to please remain on the stage, sir. You have also been chosen as the South Bureau winner for your personal motivation, your teamwork, professionalism, and commitment to Southwest, plus several other departments in the division. Congratulations.
You know, I do wish we could punch this up a little bit. You know, something like, ladies and gentlemen, weighing in at 200 pounds of pure packed muscle, single-digit fat percentage. SWAT would not be the same without him. Shamar Moore! But I think that actually might be trademarked, so I can't actually do that. Uh-oh, we might have to stretch it a little bit.
Okay, so, all right. Should I tell Bill that? Bill, These two are not here, I think, and then just read their names, I'm told, and then they're still looking for her.
Okay, so these two are not here?
No.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
We like to pull back the curtain on the drama once in a while, like moments like that you in on. All right, Bill, please go ahead.
All right. With 13 years of service, RPO Level 2 Jim Flores has spent the last 9 at Valley Traffic. A dedicated participant in details and DUI checkpoints, his experience and knowledge in firearms and tactics are invaluable to VTD officers during divisional shooting days. He was unavailable to be here tonight. Was he one of the ones I wasn't supposed to read?
Yeah, that was just about, but it's fine.
Okay.
It's fine.
Jacqueline? Can I read?
Jacqueline is not with us tonight.
All right.
She's still with us, but she's not with us tonight.
Well, Jacqueline Frazier, as many of you may know, also known as Doc Frazier, works West Traffic. And is a member of the DUI task force. So please be careful so you don't actually run into RPO Frazier later tonight. Ellen Kanda? She's not here either?
No one can find her.
All right. Officer Kanda, for your superior work ethic, effectiveness, productivity, and concern of your fellow officers and community, you've also been chosen as Traffic Group's Bureau recipient. And we present you with this award.
And from the specialized divisions, we have 7 honorees. First, from Juvenile Division, RPO Level 1, Ronnie Gilder Kirscher. He joined the Reserve Corps in 1986. 2 years later, became a full-time LAPD officer. Selected for multiple undercover assignments in narcotics and juvenile among them. When he retired in 2019, he rejoined the Reserve Corps in the Juvenile Division, but unfortunately passed away earlier this year. His division, though, wanted to recognize his immense work that he's done over that lifetime of service tonight. So bravo. A former city council member, Reserve Police Officer Level 1 Greg Smith has been a reserve officer since 1992 and for 12 years has investigated unsolved cold case murders. This is a fascinating story, and you know the reserves are the full range of things. They're patrol officers and they're people working cold cases, and that's one of the things I learned in reading about the Reserve Corps. In any case, he's one of those people. 12 years now investigating those unsolved cold case murders, and when this unit was downsized, Officer Smith developed the concept of a cold case homicide unit of reserve officers, approved by the Chief of Police, now an invaluable resource to the LAPD. We thank them for their service, and we thank him for his service. A 37-year veteran of LAPD, Mark Zavala, has now served over 3 years as a Level 1 Reserve Police Officer, currently assigned to Commercial Crimes Division, Task Force for Regional Auto Theft Prevention. He's called on at all hours of the day for his expertise, law enforcement, and private sector relationships, which have proven invaluable, apparently. He has continued to work on 4 cases initiated while with LAPD, which are now nearing conclusion. That's a testament to his dedication and commitment. Bravo. What's that? Yeah, it's on the other side. RPO Level 1, Michael Goodman, has been an active reserve officer for over 31 years. He's worked Devonshire, Southeast, and Mental Evaluation Unit. And for the past 12 years has worked at least 2 shifts every month on the triage desk, where his skills, knowledge, and courtesy and integrity are apparently invaluable. The Detective Support and Vice Division commends Officer Goodman for his dedication and commitment. Thank you. Bravo. After 25 years of service to the Los Angeles Police Department, RPO Level 1, Marie Brindle, joined the Reserve Corps in 2019. Assigned to Case Assessment Management Program of DSVD, she also supports other units, including Legal Affairs Division, with Discovery, Missing Person units, with Cold Case Files, and Gun Unit, with the review of case packages. We thank her for her commitment. RPO Level 1, Kenji Inaba is currently Vice Chair of Surgery and Chief of Trauma at USC Keck School of Medicine. Joining that corps in 2018, Reserve Officer Inaba, also the SWAT doctor and LAPD's chief surgeon. I know, he's a rock star. He led a department-wide effort to train officers in emergency trauma care. He's an advocate of expanding the department EMT program, has co-authored an online tactical emergency trauma care course, and continues to carry a superhuman load of hours in both his career at USC and reserve officer duties. Bravo, sir. Bravo. Stephen Greenwald is a reserve police officer, level 3A with the Air Support Division. Joining in 1990, he is also the ASD Assistant Reserve Coordinator. In 2020, Officer Greenwald worked over 250 hours as a tower operator, supported police recruitment efforts twice a week, and helped to plan a major SoCal public safety aviation exercise with over 600 participants. In his career as an account manager for Altadena Dairy, he continues to honor service as an LAPD reserve officer. Congratulations. Officer Greenwald, I'll ask for you to remain on stage. You have also been chosen as the Specialized Division's Reserve Officer of the Year as well for your support and commitment of the reserve program and your exemplary attention to details in all aspects of your duties at Air Support Division. Congratulations. Yeah.
Thank you, all your award recipients, for what you do for the city. It's great to hear your accomplishments because it really makes me feel like a slacker. Before we take a short break for dinner, I have to follow up on Carla's request, mostly because we've got a very lumpy couch and I don't want to sleep there tonight. She mentioned the envelopes that are at your tables. Tonight, when you feel the baton striking the back of the chair and somebody's saying, hey, this is a little light, think about giving generously. $1,000, $500, whatever meager amount you can think of putting in there. Because remember, it helps the Corps, and we really appreciate it if you give and give generously.
Indeed. I mean, all the money we raise, stays in this room in a sense, stays with the reserves, and the desperate need there is, particularly in the shadow of COVID, it's hard. Money raising is hard. We heard about it because it's a real thing, and many of you are involved in other nonprofit endeavors. You know how difficult it is to fundraise right now. So this is a great effort that we all are part of. And I'll mention the auction again, which goes on till 8 o'clock. We have 6 great items in the raffle: a 55-inch Sony Smart TV, a gun safe, a $250 gift certificate to Langer's Deli, a reversible black cashmere jacket, a 14-karat white gold ring, and a lot more. So we'll have volunteers do one last round of tables during the dinner so you can buy more tickets. That's for the raffle.
And we'll be taking a dinner break, and we've got 15 more minutes until that silent auction closes, only 15 minutes. So please go out there and bid high.
All right. And I know you were waiting, so now let me share with you the winners of the raffle. 6 people who will be very, very happy. Let me bring on one of the great raffle winner announcers of all time, Bill, to fill us in. Yeah.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 74th. Oh, wait, wrong page. I'd like to announce the raffle winners, but before I do that, I make a number of mistakes every night, and one mistake that I've made tonight, of the many, is I neglected to mention that Councilman John Lee is here tonight, so please give him a round of applause. And the winner of the Sony 55-inch Smart TV, valued at $600, is Joe Avalos. Now, Joe, you work for the mayor, so I think there's a conflict of interest. My car is down below.
You're supposed to come to this side of the stage, I'm told, where you can redeem your prize and also whatever paperwork needs to be done. I don't know, but please come over here when your name is announced.
And the reversible charcoal cape jacket From Somper, retailed at $1,295, Sammy Sue. Honeywell Steel Digital Security Safe number 2607, valued at $400, Tom Hutchinson. And someone's going to have a good night tonight. 14-karat white gold ring with baguettes of synthetic radiant-shaped topaz, valued at $600, Jesse Ojeda. Gift certificate to Langer's Deli, valued at $250, Sarah Hernandez. 4 all-access tickets to the LA Wine Fest, October 2nd, value $520, Ken Cramen. Thank you again for your support with the auction and the silent auction.
We'd like to ask those officers getting awards from Valley Bureau and West Bureau, head to the lobby and check in. So this will just help the logistics of the night. Again, both the Valley and the West Bureau to the lobby, please, right away if you could. Our next segment is called the Twice a Citizen Award. Each year, the foundation chooses outstanding individuals who, beyond their own career achievements, have contributed greatly to the community and are outstanding role models as well, and have genuinely supported law enforcement. First, we're honored to have with us tonight an award-winning actor and producer. He's appeared in over 200 television, film, and theater roles, including 13 years as Special Agent David Rossi on Criminal Minds. Yes. Great stuff from this guy also. Films, of course, The Godfather Part 3, Up Close and Personal. 15 years, he's hosted the National Memorial Day concert in Washington, D.C., with his friend Gary Sinise. Ladies and gentlemen, Joe Mantegna.
Thank you very much. One thing I have to say, when I first walked in and saw the year here, 1947, when this organization started, that's very important to me because that's when I started. So it's sobering to know I'm as old as the reserve unit here. But one thing that comes with age is so hopefully experience and getting to meet certain people. So I want to acknowledge two people who are here, one who didn't make it tonight but has sent some representatives, and somebody else who is here. The reason I mention it, I knew both these guys when they were, as we would say in Chicago, just a couple of coppers. The one guy rode in a patrol car, the other guy was a motorbike guy. Since then, since the time I met them back in the day, which I'm talking 20 years ago, the one guy in the patrol car became a councilman, and the motor cop became a captain. So I just want to salute Joe Buscaino and Chris Zine with the LAPD, formerly LAPD and current LAPD. But now to get to who I always would refer to as my golden boy, and he would refer to me as Papa Joe, and that's Shemar Moore. Sure, give him an applause. Now, Shemar, as I started to think about what I would say about Shemar tonight, I want to get into what kind of person he is. And the externals you can see. And as his dear mother Marilyn would say, she didn't make a lot of babies, but the one she did make was very pretty. And that's very true. But the thing about Shemar is, you can read it. You can go online and find out, facts and stuff, figures about him. And of course, the fact that you're honoring him tonight covers a certain area of his life. But there's other certain aspects of it that I thought, well, some of the little personal things. And I think about the 11 years that I worked with him on Criminal Minds. And what maybe a lot of people wouldn't know was his incredible sense of humor and the fact that he wouldn't mind being the butt of the joke. And I think of 3 particular instances. One time we would bust down a lot of doors, as you people in this line of work often do, And the one time that we removed the hinges off the door and the cameras were rolling, and so when Shamar kicked the door, the whole set went down with the door and everything behind it. And all he did, turned around, give me that $1 million Watt smile. And then the next instance was when he had shaved his goatee and mustache, and then they made this elaborate plan to tell him that there was the pickup shot they had to do, that he still needed the mustache and the goatee. But they said he doesn't have to put fake hair on. All he had to do was put this green tape on, and then they would be, in post, they would recreate the hair. He actually believed that. So they have this footage of him doing these serious scenes with this green tape on his chin, and, you know. And then, of course, when he heard finally the whole crew, everybody's just laughing quite loudly. He figured what was going on with that. But I think the topper was when Shamar was never big. He loved his dogs. He had these wonderful dogs, but he wasn't that big in the rest of the animal kingdom. We did an episode where somebody had to take a bunch of tarantulas off one of the victims. And I remember Shamar looking at me, he said, I ain't doing it. You know, I said, so I had to work with like the snake or the spider wrangler in order to take these tarantulas off. But one thing we did do is we hired a bear, and actually, hopefully, it was trained. It was a trained bear, and so they told Shamar that they were ready for him in the scene, and they had this trained bear standing like out in the wooded area, and he came out of his trailer reading his script like, and no one will ever forget. Of course, they have it on film of when Shamar meets the bear, and I could just. You would never thought that guy would eventually become such a hero on SWAT, but he's done very well. But I bring up those aspects of his life because it counters that other side of him, which is the side which is partly why you're honoring him tonight. I knew his mother very well, Marilyn, who had MS, and Shamar, talk about. He was, if you look at the dictionary of a mama's boy, there should be his photo, and I mean that in a good way, because this is a guy that really took care of his mother, adored her, and went out of his way to put his money where his mouth is. He started if anybody who watched Criminal Minds knew there was a whole thing about baby girl this, baby girl. He started this whole thing with Kirsten Bangus. But he turned that into a clothing line, which used the profits from it to go to charity to help people with MS. He was constantly doing things like that a lot of people weren't even aware of, that would be beneficial to the public out there, because he knew he was blessed. He knew he had these blessings. And I remember when he finally decided to leave the show, he came up to me. And we had that kind of relationship, which it touched me that he would do that, because he came up to me and goes, Papa Joe, I want to talk to you. I want to ask you something. I'm thinking of leaving the show. Now, to me, when he was going to leave the show in year 11 of a huge hit television show, I said, Shamar, you're on the horse that's winning the race, that's been winning a race for 11 years. You want to jump off the horse? He says, yeah, I just feel I need to do something else. I want to stretch myself. I want to give it a shot. And I remember telling him, I says, look, if you really believe that and you believe in yourself, how could I ever dissuade you from that? I said, you go ahead and do that, And then I remember I was very fortunate about 10 years ago when I was given a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame here. And he showed up for the ceremony. And I could see it on his face. He was just so happy for me. But I said to him on that day, I said, someday you're going to get one of these. And the reason you're going to get one of these, partly because... And he understood this because of the line of work we do. We're very blessed people, both him and I. But the reason we're blessed is we made a career, in show business, being pretend. But I'd like to think, it was part of the speech I gave that day at the Walk of Fame, and Shamar was right there with that same thought, that on Hollywood Boulevard, right here, not far from here, there's these streets with all these stars on it, with people's names on it, who made a wonderful living portraying heroes. But then you have these memorials all over the country, Los Angeles included, a big one in Washington, D.C., with the names of people in law enforcement, men and women, who are heroes. And I would like to think, and I know it's Shamar, that you feel that way, as I do. that we know the difference between the names on those kind of stars and the names on those kind of stars. And we're so blessed to have the opportunity to have built wonderful lives portraying the real heroes that walk among us every day. And so it's my privilege to be here tonight to give this award to him. So let's throw it to a little video that was made that'll explain a little more.
You know, Corey Marlin could still be our unsub, despite what Morpheus says.
There's another possibility here. Morpheus is the unsub, has always been the unsub.
Because?
Morpheus' career has been about manipulation. You look that way, I'll go this way.
Rossi, you really believe that?
No.
All right, listen up. With Luca parading around Europe, we're going to use 2 platoons. Chris and Tan, you secure the perimeter. Deke Street and I are going to initiate the breach along with 40 David Squad. Now, Chris, you're going to have that piece of armor ready just in case we need it, right?
All set.
Now, this team, we've always had each other's backs. And right now, we got a life to save. So we're going to get this one done like the others, the way we trained. Limited penetration, eyes and ears open. Listen for the suspect. What happened? Not as tough as you thought you were, huh? Or the cats here in Jewry just a little tougher? How's it feel to almost die today, big man? You tell your pops about this.
He called me last week from lockup. He said I need to man up, assert my dominance.
That's one choice, Daryl. What do you want? Thinking about those riots back then brings up complicated memories for him.
Yeah.
But at least he lets you drive that car sometimes. That's more than I got to do.
Yeah, I remember you saying something like that. I'm sorry for bothering you at work. I just seen the news, and I guess I wanted to make sure you're okay.
It's been a long day, but I'm all right. You don't ever have to apologize for checking in. You hear me?
Yeah. A couple of my friends were at the event. One of them got hurt falling down, and it's minor, but she's scared.
I'm sorry to hear that.
I was wondering if I can go check up on her.
Daryl, we got a lot of good peeps down there. You don't have to do that.
No, I know. I just want to be there for them. I think that's something you do.
Okay. Go ahead.
All right.
Sit down, please, please. Well, I've been chasing Papa Joe ever since I met him and got the chance to work with him. And like tonight, how do you follow Papa Joe? And how do you follow Joe Mantegna? Wow, Joe, where'd you go? There you go. I'm pinching myself since I got word that this was going to happen, and I was like, no, that's not going to happen. Okay, they're just playing. I heard about it a couple months ago. I didn't write a speech. I don't like to write speeches. I just try to be honest, try to be funny when it's funny, just tell the truth, have some fun. If this was the Emmys, the Golden Globes, the Oscars, I would joke and say, you're damn right I deserve one of those trophies. This ain't any of those, so I'm not quite sure I feel like I deserve an award in this room. But make no mistake, I am humbled and I'm grateful and I'm honored that you've chosen me for living my life and making the choices I've made. Joe just said we are blessed, he and I, and others like us in the entertainment industry. We make money, we have fame, we sign autographs, we're on TV, movies, the whole thing. We are blessed, but I tell my friends, to anyone who listen, that is what I do. And I'm really, really proud, and I work my ass off to be good at what I do. And I am proud of that, but it is not who I am entirely. Hondo is a serious, serious dude. He's a bad man. But I promise you, Shamar Moore has way more fun than that guy. So one thing Joe knows about me, and I don't want you to learn, is that I can talk my ass off, and so I don't want to make your ears bleed, but I do want to say what it means to be honored here tonight. I met the chief, Michael Moore, right here, the man. We got the same last name, so I was joking at the table. I was like, that's my brother from another mother right there. Got the same last name, you must be all right. What do I say? I had all these ideas sitting there of what I might say. To be successful as an actor is cool. To sign autographs and meet pretty girls and travel and go to award shows. The entertainment industry is cool. But you don't die with that, or at least I don't want to die with just that. And I got a lot of life left, God willing. If I can live my dream, chase my goals, and inspire others, then it becomes bigger than me. To play Derek Morgan on Criminal Minds for 11 years serviced me, and without Derek Morgan, there is no Daniel Hondo Harrelson on SWAT. There is no Shamar Moore, the lead of SWAT. But in doing that, in playing an FBI agent, and now playing Daniel Hondo Harrelson, Stephen Forrest, I should have known that, I'm a little nervous, sorry. Stephen Forrest did it first, played Hondo in the 70s version of SWAT. And then Sam Jackson played Hondo in the movie about 15, 20 years ago. And I was like, well, how the hell am I supposed to follow Sam Jackson? So I just didn't follow Sam Jackson. I just looked in the mirror and said, be Shamar Moore. And I'm playing Hondo, but in doing that, in training for Hondo, in training for SWAT, I met SEAL Team 6 members. I met San Diego PD SWAT members. I met LAPD SWAT members, men and women, the real deal. Leave your homes every day. LAPD Reserves here tonight. Such a pleasure and honor to meet you. You leave your houses every day. You leave your family every day. Put on vests, put on armor. You got real bullets in your guns. And you don't know if you're gonna come home. I portray that on television. But I know I'm gonna come home, unless I get in an accident on 405. I know I'm gonna come home, so I get to go play pretend, and I get to be a super cop. Somebody said earlier with one of the videos, talking about the reserves, you're superheroes, you just don't wear a cape. I play a superhero on TV. I'm a bad man on TV. I'm a goofy dude when they say cut, but on TV, I'm a bad man. And we entertain the world. We keep them on the edge of the seat. We tell these stories. But the best part of what I do is when it's bigger than what I do. And meeting and being trained by LAPD SWAT, San Diego PD SWAT, SEAL Team 6 members, hearing their stories, meeting their families. I met Randy Simmons, LAPD SWAT member who was killed in the line of duty. And his family told me that I reminded them of him. I looked like him. And when I met this was season 1, and when I met that family, and they told me that, and they told me what Randy embodied, I said, I can't just be an actor on TV looking cool, running around with an HK, you know, just making a cool TV show. There's a responsibility. And I can tell you, the rest of the cast, if you watch our show, Street, Deacon, Luca, Tan, Chris, if I'm missing anybody, Mumford, Rocker, we take it upon ourselves. Yes, we're a TV show. Yes, we want to entertain you. But trust and believe, we try so hard every day to make all of you men and women proud. We want you to watch the screen and go, that's real. What we honestly say is we want to bring the real shit. We want to do it right. No chicken arms, brotherhood, family, have each other's back, have my 6. So to be here tonight means you must see us doing something right that you can relate to. I may be speaking in tangents, I'm sorry. My character, Hondo's father says to him, if you want things to change, get out there and be the change. And I truly believe that's what each and every one of you in this room is doing, which is bigger than yourselves. It's a bigger cause. SWAT's a fun show, but I'm so proud when we can tell stories about school shootings. So proud when we can talk about suicide by cop. Human trafficking, Black Lives Matter, George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, but then also the police, what they're up against. We don't talk about politics on our show. We don't talk about religion on our show. We don't give a shit about your politics. You believe in what you believe, that's fine. I'm half black, half white. In real life. Hondo's all black. I bleed red, just like anybody in this room. I live my life, Shamar Moore. I see color, I'm not blind. I used to tell my mother when I was a kid, I just wish everybody was gray. But then I got older, I was like, you know what, color is beautiful. Different colors is beautiful. But we all have one thing in common, we are human beings. And so if in an entertainment show, SWAT. But when you get to talk about school shooting, when you get to talk about real stuff, whether you agree with it or not, just put it out there, tell the truth, create a debate. Can a television show fix the woes of the world, the woes of this country? Can we fix the divide between black and blue, civilians and blue? Can we fix it? I don't know if a TV show can fix it. But we can start the conversation, we can create the debate. And we try so hard on our show, because I know it's important to me, and I scream at the producers if I ever feel it's slipping away from that message. Let's make the men and women law enforcement heroes. Let's make them super. But let's make them human. Let's create humanity. Let's see if we can challenge the men and women of blue to have a little more patience with the civilians. Let's see if we can challenge the civilians to have a little understanding of what the men and women of blue are up against. Let's create a little more harmony. That's deep. But just know that when we go to SWAT, yeah, we're entertaining each other in our fancy cars, and Hollywood, there's perks to that. But we go to work and we put on the gear, and it's not about our big house. It's not about whatever we got. It's not about our stuff. It's about action to cut. Can we make a difference? And can we showcase you men and women, can we showcase you as super, as brave, not perfect, unyielding, never quit? So again, I don't want to talk too long, but I'm so grateful that you see something in me and honor me with this award. But just know that you guys deserve this award. I accept it humbly, but I am not you. But I'm doing my best to show the world that you men and women deserve the utmost respect and round of applause and unyielding belief and support. So thank you for doing what you're doing. Thank you. Because without you doing what you're doing, I couldn't go portray you. And it's so important to me, and I'm so proud to showcase and bring homage to who you are and what you do. So thank you. Thank you for this moment.
My role is to invite Chief Moore back up to the stage. Chief?
So this is a point in the program that I should have paid closer attention to. And so Bill, come on back if you would, up to the stage. Unless I have the honor. I think I have the honor. Okay, fantastic. There you go. So let's give another hand to our guests and to our awardee. As you spoke about clearly from the heart as to the dynamics of what your efforts are as an actor, know that we appreciate you. Know that the men and women, you speak to them with your reverence for the job and the tasks that they go out to do. The fact that you recognize just the perils that they're in, and the fact that they are imperfect, that they have a heart and they strive to do the very best, is why you're so deserving of this honor tonight. So God bless you and thank you for the work that you do. You are making a difference and you are part of the change that we all see. Our other honoree tonight is a man that I did not know when he put his hands all over the Staples Arena and to change the future of Los Angeles with the establishment of LA Live. But I watched him after that event and have seen him on countless occasions change for the better the course of this great city through his energy, his commitment, his values of that this city deserves to be that shining city on a hill. And that is Mr. Steve Soboroff, the Commissioner former President, Vice President of the Board of Police Commissioners, currently one of my bosses, so I'll try to mind my P's and Q's. But an individual that is so much more, because as a man that has led in this city through a number of different political leaders, if you will, different administrations, he's been a person that has cared deeply and continually, no matter the cost, no matter the criticism, no matter the which way the winds may be flowing, for the men and women of this department. He lives every day, and whether he's been as a commissioner and certainly before that as well, with a pride about the fact of the job that you do and the task and how difficult that job is and the sacrifice. And as a commissioner, I've seen him work to advocate, to petition, to demand that public safety be the most important and critical element of the task of city government. It was a wise choice by the Los Angeles Police Reserve Foundation to honor Steve Yu tonight as just another measure of some give back, if you will, of some ability of us to say thank you. And as chief of this department, and in the times and years before that, I valued the fact that you've been a person that when we got it right, you fought for us. And when we found ourselves short and we'd make a mistake, because we're human, because we go out and do a difficult job, and we wouldn't always do it the right way, that you'd also hold us accountable and be willing to say, no, I'm not a cheerleader. I'm an advocate, I'm a believer, I'm a supporter. But this department becomes better when we're willing to look at ourselves with that clear eye. So God bless you for that, for your continued willingness to stay at the table and to stay at a time in all of our lives that there's no script, there's no cut. Let's take that take over again. We go out every day in a time in America today, and certainly in this city, with what we have to have as our North Star and our values, and stay true to our mission. And you are a foundational part of what's allowed us to do that, and I'm grateful that you stay with us as we move forward, and I'm excited as we move through this pandemic and into the opportunities of this next decade, that we'll look back and be proud of everything you've done. Please welcome to the stage, after you see a video, very soon, our awardee tonight, Commissioner Steve Soboroff. First, the video.
Inside a top-secret government laboratory, scientists are working feverishly to unlock one of the greatest mysteries in Los Angeles. Whose handprints are on so many of our city's most important civic projects? To find the answer, we've gone to the Chief of Police, Michael Moore.
Yes, I'm happy to shed some light on this subject. The first piece of evidence dates back to the 1960s when a certain college student worked part-time for Kirk Douglas as a chauffeur and assistant, and was responsible for driving his Rolls Royce right into a tree. We discovered those same handprints on 1970s shopping centers. And apparently, while a member of the Harbor Commission, he was the driving force behind the development and success of the Alameda Corridor. My detectives also uncovered a link that was tied to an appointment some 20 years ago to the Los Angeles Rec and Parks Commission by then Mayor Richard Riordan. Steve was responsible for reinvigorating the entire city's park system. Upon closer inspection, we found that his handprints were embedded on one of the city's most important venues, which kept the Lakers and Kings from moving to Inglewood. Yes, we believe these handprints belong to Steve Soboroff. His leadership and innovative ideas have resulted in transformative policies which have benefited millions. Transportation of all varieties have benefited from the Soboroff touch. Steve served as the senior advisor to the California Science Center and navigated a pinpoint landing of the Space Shuttle Endeavour to its new home, just steps from the Steve Soboroff Court Park, a monument to his dedication to playgrounds for all of our city's youth. As president of Playa Vista, he oversaw the development of 20 parks, a school, and the Clipper Training Center, and much more. Hired in 2011 as vice chair of the Dodgers, he's listed in the Guinness Book of World Records for holding the highest visibility job for the shortest period of time. He was replaced by Major League Baseball the very next day. Working with his longtime friends Kirk and Ann Douglas, he helped develop over 400 playgrounds at LA Unified School District schools. Angelenos are safer knowing Steve has served the Los Angeles Police Commission for nearly a decade, serving twice as president. Body-worn cameras for LA's finest was another pet project that bears Steve's handprints. And while Steve continues his commitment to the city, he made a personal commitment 53 years ago, serving the Big Brothers, with the same individual, Terry, who's now 62. Everybody needs a hobby, and Steve is known as a foremost collector of famous typewriters, owned by the likes of John Lennon, Ernest Hemingway, Hugh Hefner, and 30 more. Along with his civic leadership and his unbridled dedication to helping residents of Los Angeles and beyond, he's very much a family man, marrying his lovely wife, Patty, 39 years ago. And they're extremely proud of their 5 children and 5 grandchildren. We know he's not done yet. The city of Los Angeles will be watching for Steve Soboroff, his dedication, his heart, his handprints on many more projects, knowing his involvement will bring those projects to a reality.
Mr. Steve Soboroff, twice a citizen.
That's great.
That was cool. Like Shamar, I don't do notes. Like Shamar, we would both say that next year's recipients will probably have more on top than this year's recipients. But I want to say that every morning, I say, thank the Lord that Mike Moore is our chief. And I don't say that lightly. I believe that when Bill Bratton was chief, was probably the perfect guy to be chief at that time. We went into the consent decree. We started in with community-based policing. We don't use guns. We had where's Mark Thompson? We had 2 million calls like yours last year, and they weren't all as happy as yours at 911. Last year, LAPD officers used their guns during 22 incidents out of 2 million calls. That is community policing. After Bill Bratton was Charlie Beck, who really encouraged the evolution of this community policing atmosphere. I don't think anybody could have done it better than Charlie Beck. When Charlie's term was over, when he left, we had a lot of people wanted this job. It's a big deal to be chief of LAPD. It's the finest police department in America, if not the world. And we selected Michael Moore. And we selected the strength behind Michael Moore, and that's Cindy Moore. And luckily for the department, the other person I thank that's there every day, and other commissioners and other chiefs would agree with me, is Richard Tifank, has been with us and with the law enforcement world for over 40 years. And to his strength, to Marilyn. I want to tell a little story. Shamar, would you come back up for a second, my co-honoree? No. I got something special. The other thing we have in common is my wife loves both of us. Shamar, wait a minute. The other day, we were watching all these Criminal Minds, left and right. One morning she wakes up and she says something, and she says, Shamar. And then she looks at me and he says, oh God, it's you. But my wife's right. You're a special guy. And I wear a band, I don't know if you can see it out there, that says LAPD. And I wear that band out of respect for everyone who's ever been an officer, everyone who is an officer, everyone who's married to an officer, everyone who's in a family of an officer, everyone who's been a reserve, everyone who is a reserve, every officer that's ever been injured or killed in the line of duty, and their families. And I had an occasion one time, only presented one to one person. My phone here. You see that?
Los Angeles. Let's get rid of that. It says Los Angeles.
No, don't look at that. Look at the face.
Oh, that's Rihanna. I know who that is.
Yeah.
Rihanna.
Okay. So I gave, it's a hard time to be a cop. The industry is under siege. We do a million things right. We're in the business of trust. And somebody in Ferguson does one thing wrong and it empties our bank account. Because we are what they all need to be, is a community policing organization. So morale is super important. So I was sitting next to Rihanna at a basketball game. I thought she liked me, but turns out she said I reminded her of her grandfather. But I gave her, and I just showed Shamar, a wristband. This exact wristband, only two of them. She has one. Mine's white, this one's blue. And I asked her to take a selfie of us, which she did. And she dropped my phone and broke it. It was captured by one of these things that probably follows you around, Daily Mail or US, or that, whatever.
Yeah.
It had 121 million views of Rihanna dropping my phone. And it was so uplifting to our officers that someone like Rihanna cared as much about the rank and file officers. The command staff, great. The rank and file officers, that it was really a wonderful thing. And that's the way they think about you. And I've never given out another one of these since Rihanna's. So I don't know how to take a selfie. She did, but then she fucked up my camera. But I'd like. Do you know how to?
I've taken my share of selfies.
Do you know how to do? Do you know how to do a selfie?
I do.
So we're going to let Shamar take the selfie, but I would like to do. I would like to put this on your wrist, sir.
Let's find your camera first. There we
go.
Got
Careful,
it.
you
Got
get
it.
some of
Got
that
it.
other stuff.
Here we go.
Okay, let me put this on your wrist.
Okay, let's do this one.
And when you look down at that thing, think about every one of these cops that you're talking about, because like you say, they don't know if they're going home at night. And you summed it up perfectly. But it is a great honor for me to hand you that and be in your presence. And let's do the selfie. If he drops my phone, I'm going to be pissed.
I'm gonna teach him about angles, all right? Do you have a good side?
Yeah.
Let's add one to it.
Oh, we got
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes. How are we gonna do this? My arms
Well,
aren't long enough.
let's do this one, and then because I got to send it to Rihanna.
You got it.
Wait, if you get in here close enough, I think we can do
Well,
it.
then we'll get then we'll do the other one.
But you got to be in it.
Yeah,
though.
thanks.
All right, come on.
That's your fault, not my fault.
All right, there we go. You ready? Boom. All right.
Now the chief.
Okay. All three of us?
Yeah.
Here, let's try this.
Now, if
Let's
you
try
and
this.
Rihanna ever go out to lunch or anything, just invite me and my wife. We want a double date.
All right, get in there, Chief. There we go.
Chief.
That's perfect. We got it. We got it. We got it.
If you send this to yourself, will you send these to yourself and then do what you can do with them?
Oh, yeah,
because
for sure.
cops will love it.
Oh, that's easy.
There's 1, 2, 3. You want to mail it?
No, yeah, text. It's easy. All right.
Okay, there you go. Unscripted, live, from the heart. And I don't care about the award. But thank you guys, and thanks to every reserve officer and every police officer. Thank you for what you do. Mr. President, thank you, sir. And I think you'll second my thoughts about the chief and especially about Mr. T-Fank. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for what you do. So much trouble for not wearing a mask.
You're not breathing.
Thank you, everyone.
Boom. This means a lot. Thank you again. Very honored.
Thank you, sir. Cool. Okay, we're back. Time really flies when you're giving out trophies, doesn't it? We're back to recognize the Reserve Officers of the Year in the final 2 bureaus. We hope everyone from the Valley Bureau and West Bureau are backstage and are about to be honored. I really hope they're there so that we don't have what happened last time. Chief, if you're ready. Need a chair? Okay, good. Reserve Officer Level 3 Peter Feldman joined the Corps in June 1999. With North Hollywood Division since graduating, he's worked numerous assignments from conventions to serving as the Leighton Prince Officer for the division. For the last few years, Officer Feldman has been tasked by Community Relations with creating and maintaining a database of volunteers, which has freed up other officers. He is a great asset to the division. Since 1994, the last 7 with Devonshire, RPO Level 3A David Bush has supported projects including Special Olympics, Sunshine Kids, and Children's Hospital. During the pandemic, RPO Bush worked events including volunteer surveillance teams, school graduations, and slow details, helped coordinate gifts for 65 young cancer patients, and distributed gifts and food baskets to almost 2,000 families at the Special Needs Network's Dressed as Santa. He's very deserving and dedicated reserve officer. Joe Avalos works for the City of Los Angeles and has been the director of the Crisis Response Team since 2012. In June of 2019, he became an RPO Level 1 with the Reserve Corps, serving with the city as both an employee and a volunteer. During this past year of civil unrest and pandemic, he has worked closely with fellow sworn officers, LAPD command staff, and top city officials, always with a superior work ethic and strong leadership abilities. He is undoubtedly twice a citizen. The COVID-19 pandemic limited some of the reserve officers' duties. However, RPO Level 3A Rory Holdstock maintained his commitment by completing LMS and other department training courses, plus attending all monthly meetings. His dedication and professionalism to the community and the department make him a very valuable member of our Reserve Corps in Van Nuys. RPO Level 1 Joseph Robinson joined the reserve class in 1994 and has taken the training that advanced him from a technical reserve to the Level 1 status. He has worked patrol, gangs, community relations, and continually strives to improve his efficiency while mentoring and teaching other reserve officers. He's appreciated for his teamwork, positive impact, and the community and exceptional dedication to duty. While working a full-time job, Reserve Officer Veep Chev attended the academy to complete Level 1 reserve status. He has continued to work multiple shifts at Topanga Station while he pursues his career as a certified financial planner. His selflessness and volunteerism goes beyond the standards set for reserve officers. Officer Chev's commitment to service and his integrity make him a valued and respected reserve. RPO Carmen Cisolito is a Level 1 officer with Foothill Division for almost 40 years. A local pharmacist, he's committed to the department and the community. His proactiveness and passion for traffic enforcement has been critical in reducing related incidents. Carmen's mission includes education and enforcement of vehicle code violations, and he was heavily involved in planning and coordinating the first ever volunteer traffic awareness force in Foothill. Officer Cisolito, please remain with us as the Valley Bureau has also chosen you as its Reserve Officer of the Year. Always first to volunteer for any assignment, they recognize your devotion and the quality of service you give our community.
Are you going to join this West Bureau crew? I'm bringing up the West Bureau.
Yeah.
Bill, you got to join the West Bureau crew, I think. You better get moving. You don't want to miss your detail, my friend. All right. It's my pleasure to introduce to you the 6 Reserve Officers of the Year from the West Bureau. Yeah, how about shout out to the West Bureau? First, we have duo nominees from Hollywood Reserve Police Officers Level 1 Bernard Khalili and Trevor Ingle. They joined the Reserve Corps in March of 2003. They were assigned to Hollywood as partners, and they remained there for 18 years. Wow, all right. During 2020, they both dramatically increased their hourly commitments to help restore patrol numbers due to many full-time officers being ill or quarantined with COVID-19. They used personal resources to secure valuable PPE for officers. I'm talking about N95 masks, gloves, sanitizers, all that stuff. Even personally flying some in from Wyoming to make it happen. And they continued to work multiple shifts each week. When the riots happened, they worked every single day, sometimes 18-hour days, holding the line with the full-time sworn officers. For their exemplary performance and dedication, Hollywood salutes these partners as the Reserve Officers of the Year. Class 1018R, Level 3, Reserve Officer Osborne is an entertainment producer and writer, family man, and assists in all areas of Wilshire Division, from detectives to community relations to special events. Always willing to lend a hand, he reports in at all hours, including without being called during the civil unrest. In addition, Nicholas is a member of the Wilshire Baker to Vegas team and volunteers at Verbum High School. Congratulations. Somehow, for 13 years, Level 1 Reserve Officer Ryan Mitsui finds time to be a full-time Raytheon Technologies project manager, working a variety of Pacific assignments, and be a HIT-certified firearms instructor as well. Ryan is a much-needed calming influence in his role as an adjunct firearms instructor for reserve classes. He wasn't able to join us tonight, but we congratulate and thank him. Level 1 Reserve Officer Amundsen, maybe you've heard about him. Yes.
All these years of being a bridesmaid, and I'm finally a bride.
He first joined LAPD. I mean, his story is amazing, as you probably are aware. He first joined LAPD with Class 1086R and then retired in 2002. Then he re-entered the academy 32 years later with the Class 1018R. After 120R Level 1 training, Bill completed his P1 book, completed about 500 patrol hours within 6 months. In addition to patrolling the Olympic area, he regularly works with Detective Task Force and other details. Common comment he receives is, "You work more than full-timers." He truly is twice a citizen. Congratulations, Bill. After retiring from Sony, Eileen Loomis volunteered in the detective division, but soon felt the call to be a reserve, graduating with Class 1018R, I should say. Level 3 Reserve Officer Loomis now carries a full caseload with robbery caps in West LA's area. In a recent case where the victim was shot, Loomis identified the suspects via forensic evidence, located the suspect in Nevada, and coordinated the arrest. Congratulations. And Level 3 Reserve Officer Loomis is also the West Bureau winner. She is dedicated, self-motivated, and a tremendous asset to West LA detectives. She's known for being an unbelievable investigator. She's an exemplary representative of the Reserve Corps. Congratulations to all of you tonight for your contributions to our city. Wow. Bill, you are to return to the stage at this time, I'm told.
I'm just going to put this down.
Yeah, enough showboating, my friend. Now it's time to get back to business.
Did I miss anything while I was gone?
For our final award of the evening, we recognize our overall Reserve Officer of the Year. Carla and Michael, if you could join us back on stage, and Chief, if you could stand by, please. You've been introduced to 31 outstanding Reserve officers tonight, and from those, the Chief was to choose one as the Reserve Officer of the Year for the department. The Chief and the command staff reviewed the time commitment, the dedication, and effectiveness on the job, and after much discussion, they've settled the question. As to our winner, it's actually winners. We have two. First, welcome back to the podium from West Los Angeles and the West Bureau, Reserve Police Officer of the Year for 2020, Eileen Loomis. And from South Bureau, Reserve Police Officer of the Year for 2020, Paul Strauss.
Thanks, Paul. Congrats.
Okay. Eileen and Paul. And after the photos, Eileen and Paul, if you could make a remark or two. We'll ask you after the pictures to come by the podium.
And while we're doing that, I see some envelopes on the table. I don't know what those are for, but maybe somebody could take a look at those and figure out how to fill them out. I'm trying my best not to sleep on the couch.
I'd just like to thank the command staff, my fellow officers, and my wife, and most importantly, how the department has treated me. You know, we are considered reserves, but when I go in, I'm considered a police officer, no different. Go to roll call in the morning, get put into a car, and for the officers and the citizens of Los Angeles, I am just another officer on the street taking care of them, and I thank you for that opportunity to be able to do that.
I feel very honored and blessed to be able to work at West LA with the detectives on a daily basis. I love what I do. I love nothing more than to make sure the bad guys get what they deserve. And this is sort of fulfilling, even though I'm retired from a different career, this is almost a second career for me. And I grew up watching detective shows, never thinking for a moment that I'd ever have the opportunity to do anything like this. And now that I am, I'm thrilled, and I especially thank all the guys at West LA that have been so supportive of me and have taught me all the ropes, and I really appreciate it. One of them is here, Detective Malcutt, who's been very supportive, so I thank him. And I just thank everyone for letting me be a part of this. Thank you.
We'd like to invite Officer Rosalind Curry back to join us on stage to close out our evening with a beautiful tribute. There she is.
Can you all please stand, please?
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Everyone, thank you. Officers, congratulations to you all. Chief, it's been an honor to share the stage with you tonight and participate in this special event. Really an honor. And Shamar Moore and Steve Salbaroth, thank you for supporting the city. And, you know, when Steve and Shamar can get a selfie launched, it's always a better night. And to the Reserve Corps, the hours and dedication you all contribute to leave your jobs, your homes, your families for several days or nights or a month even, it's truly commendable. Let's give them all another nice round of applause. We honor you and remember you every day as you're out there. Thank you.
And remember to pick up your auction items in the lobby. And thank you, Michael Sellers and Carla, for this beautiful event.